Welcome to this special leaders interview with Adrien from Webinterpret. Excited to speak to you today, Adrien. But first of all, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Chris. All good. Very pleased to be here today. Thank you for the invitation to speak.
So you've been with Webinterpret almost a decade now. I think you're well into your 9th year at Webinterpret. What's the story there? When did you start with Webinterpret? What's been going on since you joined there over the years? And I should say, by the way, you're now CEO.
Yes, it's been already 9 years indeed with Webinterpret. Yeah, the story gets a long back. I used to always be passionate about doing business internationally. I used to travel a lot when I was young. I visited Ukraine many times, China, US, Europe, Taiwan, many other countries. And I always wanted to develop myself in that international business. Right after I graduated, I had an opportunity to launch a startup in Poland that was a parcel broker that was specialized in cross-border shipping. A very early stage business. We launched it in Warsaw, and one day at an event, I met the two founders of Webinterpret. It was in 2015, I would say. And back then, the two founders, they got started with eBay, with Amazon. There was a phenomenal growth thanks to those partnerships. So we decided to work together. I brought them, let's say, a logistics know-how through my company. And right after the partnership started, we decided to merge the company together. And a couple of years after, new opportunities arise, and that's how I became CEO.
Amazing. So why was Webinterpret a good fit for you? I mean, you were already running a successful company. Why merge the two? What made Webinterpret a really, really special opportunity?
Yeah. So it was I would say, a matter of belief. We were smaller than Webinterpret. Back then, there were about 220, 230 people. We were in 2015 about 12 to 13 people, and I wanted to really have an impact on the e-commerce market through a logistics angle. And Webinterpret did want as well to have an impact on the e-commerce cross-border market through the localization perspective. And so our vision aligned very well, and together we are stronger. So we decided to really merge the companies together. But beside that, I find this place very fascinating because there is an ability to innovate, which is very strong. We have a team of enthusiastic people where we jump onto new businesses, new ideas very quickly. We have an ability to deliver very fast. Some things work, some things don't work, but when it works, we go quite far with what we do. And that's what I really like. It's very interesting, very wide.
And I want to come back to that because I know you moved very fast on a new innovation at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But before we get to there, I want to dig a bit into your leadership on, first of all, how has the company evolved over the years, and then come back to what are your ambitions for the country. But over 9 years, the companies never stand still. What are you most proud of, and maybe what do you wish had gone faster or happened sooner?
Yeah. So to answer your first question, really on yes, on where we come from, we are known on the market for our flagship product, which is the localization, mostly on eBay, as well a bit on Amazon. That's really what allowed us to grow. But since 2020, we changed, we pivoted, let me say, because we realized that the market evolved, and in order to keep selling internationally, we need to do more than just localizing inventory. To name a few examples, big marketplaces are, I don't want to say forcing, but today, if you don't advertise your product, it is very hard for you to sell. If today you want to sell in Europe, you need to be compliant, GPSR, EPR, etc. There is as well all the logistics setup that has evolved a lot. Today, you need to be very efficient in your logistics in order to be selling internationally. So all those market disruptors had to be addressed. And so at Webinterpret, we said, hey, let's try to seize that and take that as an opportunity and develop a galaxy of products, not only localization, but let's help customers with international advertising. Let's help customers and sellers with international return. And more recently, we decided as well to jump into the compliance initiatives and really to help customers sell efficiently and being compliant. And about our plans, I believe you asked as well.
Yeah, so you're the CEO, and I'm really interested in your story about how you started a company, you merged with Webinterpret, but now as CEO of Webinterpret, I want to know about your ambitions for the company, both your personal ambitions and your ambitions for the company itself, and where you see it going over the next another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. I personally believe, and let's say I have a dream that one day our sellers will just be able to provide us a URL, and in a matter of couple minutes, they will be able to sell in any marketplaces in the world. Of course, I'm being pragmatic about it. I know it's not that simple, and each marketplace is different. eBay is not Amazon, Amazon is not Temu, Temu is not OnBuy, etc. And they all provide different services. So to deliver the promise of enabling customers to sell efficiently globally, we have to sort of adjust a bit our approach marketplace by marketplace. So we decided, like I said earlier, to have a service approach, right? Which for some services, they are specialized on a marketplace, and some other services are more multi-marketplace. And that way, we position ourselves as a cross-border enabler, and a seller can come to us, choose the service that he would like to leverage, and then sell globally on a given marketplaces. As far as our plans are concerned, we really have 3 priorities this year, and that will carry on for the next couple of years. One is GPSR compliance. We see a lot of more regulation, especially in Europe. Sellers, especially non-European sellers, saw their sales drop over the years. So we decided to invest into that, and to invest in developing products that could help non-European sellers sell into Europe by being GPSR compliant, and then we'll develop something around EPR, etc. So that's our first priority. The second priority, in a matter of 3 to 4 months, we are going to enhance our return service and make it multi-channel. So sellers will be able to manage their returns internationally on multiple marketplaces. And our third priority is to keep leveraging AI to improve our historical service around improving listings, improving the transaction quality, improving the mapping quality. And we do a lot of work around that to deliver a better value to our customers.
So there's a clear path forward with the services you're offering. What motivates you, Adrien? How do you keep going after 9 years of CEO? You've got hugely exciting plans for the future, but what motivates you to keep going? And I've got to be honest, I see so many companies that they've got a great product and they kind of just build that product, but you're building brand new products all of the time. How do you keep going?
Yeah. So I'm an enthusiastic by nature. I like to do new things. I like as well to, learn new things, learn new skills. And I have the chance of having great talents in the company. We have great people here. And so, like I said earlier, once we decide to where we see an opportunity and we decided to go for it, we are all approaching that topic with enthusiasm and with an innovative approach. A good example around GPSR, you get a lot of small companies that are helping with GPSR, but in a very formal way, as almost like a law firm would do. Webinterpret decided to take a more of a technological approach where we are automating all the processes, and that allow us to really onboard thousands of merchants instead of onboarding thousands of merchants. So that is really exciting on a day-to-day basis to work with bright people and to do different things and to see our customers that are happy and to see the promise that is being delivered to the sellers.
Mm. And I promise I am going to come back to GPSR because I find that really fascinating. Yeah. But first of all, I want to ask, why should a retailer or a merchant come to Webinterpret? There are other solutions out there that do bits of what you do, maybe not everything that you do in one place, but what sets Webinterpret apart that makes them the people to go to?
Yeah. Well, I would say it's two responses to that. One, I would say it's convenience. As we automate pretty much everything we do, customers have to do a bit of settings, and then everything works automatically, and we automate complicated stuff. So I would say it's effortless / convenience. And the second key point is that our promise is not to deliver a service. Our promise is to deliver more sales. And so our business model and everything we do is always indexed and calibrated on the incrementality of the sales that we deliver to the client. If we deliver more sales, we take our share of it. If we don't take it. And that win-win approach really made us successful in the past, and we really try to keep having that mentality of mutual win from an incrementality perspective.
Yeah, I really like that approach, that you're invested in my success just as much as I am.
Yeah.
But there's something you said that really interests me, and that's the automation. And you also mentioned sort of the third ambition of the company is in AI. What's the role of the AI in the company today? And I know that a lot of what you've done in the past has been quite people heavy on delivering the service. Is AI lessening the reliance on people and allowing you to do more with fewer or more with the same?
Well, first of all, we use AI for, I would say, nearly a decade, right? We have PhD people specialized in AI for, like I said, a decade. So for us, this is not necessarily new. We always use LLM models, which were not as powerful as they are today. Obviously, with all the change that happened in the market recently, models became much more powerful, and we are leveraging those models heavily. But we try to leverage AI to generate more value to customer, not so much to them in order to be more efficient as an organization. So to give you a couple of examples, in our localization module / service, we use these modern LLMs to improve, of course, the quality of the translation, to improve the quality of the listings, to restructure the title, inject the right keyword in the description, and so improve the visibility of the item. A second use case that we are leveraging AI with is around category mapping. I'm sure you know that for a seller, when you list an item, choosing the right category is heavy and, let's say, complex.
And it's different on every platform that you sell on.
Yeah. And there is a lot of errors, right, when a human does it. And what we see is that when an AI does it, the accuracy of the category mapping is increased. And so we are using AI as well in that respect. And the last example in the context of GPSR, we are leveraging some models to allocate the risk and understand the risk assigned to a given product. so that our software is telling us, okay, that item is a mug, risk is very low based on the picture that was digested, based on the description that was digested, but this item has some electronics, watch out, risk is higher. And yes, we leverage that in that context too.
And that leads me nicely into the GPSR, which I really want to be talking about today. And I think GPSR is something which caught a lot of people by surprise, but it shouldn't have done because it's been talked about for years. Specifically in the UK, it's been viewed as a problem selling into the EU, which it isn't, because it immediately affected Northern Ireland, part of the United Kingdom, from day one on the 13th of December when it came in. And indeed, later this year, I believe GPSR is coming to UK legislation, so we're all going to have to comply just to sell to the UK. But I think there's specific parts of it which have caused issues. Possibly the most contentious one is the responsible person, which for a UK seller selling to Northern Ireland or the Europe has to be a European responsible person. But can you tell us a bit about, first of all, what GPSR is and why it exists in the first place? And then secondly, how Webinterpret can help with compliance?
Yeah. So you know that in Europe, we like to regulate. I would say that's the starting point. But in general, the idea is to protect the European consumers from products that are being produced in non-European countries. So the idea is that any product being sold within the EU is following a set of guidelines to make sure they are safe for the sellers. And not GPSR, but a legislation close to GPSR exists for many, many, many years for specific categories like toy category, product, medical devices, and others. But last December, what happened is that the legislation was extended to the general product. So technically, nearly all product being sold online or on marketplaces needs to be GPSR compliant. We saw a lot of stress from customers in December last year. And so, yes, we decided to develop a service to help them to be compliant. So when you are a non-EU merchant, you need to be represented by an EU company so that in case of, let's say, incidents, an EU company could represent your business and could represent your product with the local authority. And of course, there is a second element to that. Before selling a product into the EU, you need to make sure you have all the data set, the right data, having a new responsible person, having the right manufacturer, having the right label, having the right information being provided and the right documentation. And so what we built a very simplistic platform which allows to provide sellers access to our database of manufacturer and EU responsible data when it exists. I'm thinking of an iPhone, I'm thinking about, let's say, big branded products. Those data are out there and we are gathering them, structuring them and giving access to our customers so they don't need to get them by themselves and they can just push it through their listing very easily and conveniently. And then the second real use case is for brands or for non-branded item, which may require us to become the EU responsible person. We do offer as well this service, but of course, it goes with a set of assessment, a set of documentation that we are checking up front. And that's where the technology is helping, because we are helping automating all that flow. And working with Webinterpret, you could be compliant in a matter of days, while if you would have to do it by yourself, it could be a matter of weeks or a matter of months if you want to do it properly.
And I think that the doing it properly is the important thing here, because this is not going to go away. And if you want to be a reputable company, and we know the Europeans love their legislation, but you've got to comply. But I think this is also going to come into effect in the UK later this year.
Yes, this is not settled for sure. There is no official date yet. From what we know, it hasn't been voted yet, so no dates again are being released. But we expect that by the end of the year, yes, this will be going out in the UK as well.
Yeah, and I think even though that the UK officially left the UK a couple of years back, we still tend to follow a lot of the similar regulations because, to be honest, they make sense. If I buy a product and it goes wrong, I want to know who's responsible for it. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So what are your plans for the rest of this year? Is it to grow the GPSR product? Is there anything else we should be looking forward to this year?
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier, so this year our key focus is around GPSR. We want to have the best GPSR compliance solution on the market. So that's for us our top priority. And like I mentioned earlier, we are enhancing our international return service as well. So our customers will be able to manage their return not only on existing channels, but on more channels.
And finally, for those retailers watching that want to get in touch, what's the best way of getting in touch with you? We'll put your LinkedIn and website details below. But for those that don't know you, how do they get hold of you?
LinkedIn is good. Always open to have a conversation with retailers or brands. Alternatively, they could go to our website, book a demo, and our team would be happy to have a chat with them for sure.
Fantastic. Adrien, thank you so much for your time today.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Chris.